Hey, welcome back. This is Will and I Podcast, all about nothing. And today we are talking to parents who have teenagers and the language and communications that reshape your role. We're going to talk about what's happening in your teen, social media, mental health, peer pressure, school stress, and some family dynamics. There is no perfection required, and this is just real conversation and real insight. And today we are with.
Alfredo Marulanda, licensed clinical social worker and director of Emotions Therapy Center.
So today we're going to have a few questions, and we're going to talk with Alfredo about teens and parents. So Alfredo, welcome. This is all about nothing. So tell us, why do parents often feel like they're overreacting with their teens?
Okay, but that's a very good question. From a clinical social work perspective, communication between parents and teenagers is always difficult, right? And there's many reasons. Could be because we don't understand where are they mentally, how they are developed their brain, and how they express feelings or emotions. So that could be, those are the reasons why. Um, Also keep in mind that brain to be fully developing is is, is over 25 years old. So at the time the teenagers are growing, is a lot of emotional regulations that they are working on, and it could be difficult for them to understand how to express feelings, concerns, or whatever is affecting them.
Okay. So it's been in the past that men develop more slowly than women. Is that clinically accepted, or is that just hearsay?
I would say, in some aspect, gender can be developed in some areas, but still, I think the brain is something that every day science found something different.
Okay. How does the brain development affect teen communications, though?
So for teens, they might struggle to relax or maybe telling you something with no go like 100
Mm-hmm.
miles fast. So it's very helpful for us to, first of all, understand and ask questions. Can you tell me a little bit more what's going on? Can you please take some time to tell me what are you saying? I had time. Let's go have some, let's go be comfortable and you can share what is in your mind. So giving the teens the, I would say, opportunity for them to be more relaxed.
Okay. Why do teens sometimes push back against their parents?
It seems like for some parents, of course, it seems like it's very rude, and it's more because teenagers they are trying to find their own independency. So they try to figure out who they are and how they can feel like other teens because at that age, that's when they start comparing themselves with others.
Okay. Interesting. Why do parents often interpret independence so far as disrespect?
Because I know the role of parents is guide the children what to do, what is the right thing to do. But because teens they want to be very independent, a lot of times it creates conflict. I know what I do, or let me do it myself, or I figured out my own. So that's why probably is like misinterpretation and why teens push back the parents.
So now we're just gonna go into a couple of questions about like social media. It's is limiting social media about control or safety when it comes to the teen years?
Yeah, I believe, of course, social media is something that affect anybody. Could be teens, could be adults. So I think it's important to have some agreements with teens and review, check where are they, and before that have a conversation. What is appropriate by the age, in time when they've been using social media and probably be procrastinate in something that they might need to do.
Do teens, I would say, does teens react so strongly when their phones are taken away? I mean, a lot of teens are on social media, they're on TikTok, Snapchat, all these other social media outlets out there. Why do teens kind of react so strongly when their phones get taken away?
Because I would say because for adults we see could be social media or our phone as a tool, but for them it's basically a social connection. It can be the way they identify with other teens, and also in many cases how they found validation. So not having that basically, I would say, tool or part of them, they can feel isolated, and it can be very, in some cases, traumatic. So again, that's why it's important to have those conversations with teens and help them to expose to other settings where they can meet people in person, not in social media.
We're going to come back to social media, but I'm just going to go on to some questions that I have for you, so we can stay on track.
Yeah.
How can parents model, a healthy social media background?
We think about kids, they learn from our parents. Teenagers, they learn from their parents because they live with them, or from adults. So adults, they don't follow what they telling the kids to do. They will thinking like something is wrong. Why I need to do it and you don't do it. So I think boundaries started with us. So if we decide in like having a dinner, no one using the phone, that starts with the parents. But the parents are using the phone and tell their kids you don't use the phone. So what is that connection right there?
Okay. What's interesting is I heard a story where the mother and father, they had two kids, and the father, the one was a baby and the other one was going to school, and the father made it a point to take his kid to school every day during their grade school, middle school, and then high school. He wanted to make sure he took his kid to school every day. And we were saying, like, why do you want to take your kid to school every day? And he says, because that's the only time that I have to have a great conversation with myself and my kid. And it was just like that until he stopped taking his kid to school. And it was interesting because that was no phone time. Which was interesting because normally you wake up in the morning, you get on your phone, you check your social media, your email. And he said, that's the only time where I could have that 15-minute or 20-minute with only my kid. And he's going to do his second child like that as well.
I think it's interesting, but I also think when we, establish some agreements, quality time at home, maybe not everyday dinner because people have different schedules or something, but maybe have like a calendar, a weekly activity. Maybe each of them they can put in there what activity they would like to do as a family. Could be once a month, every 2 months, but I think it's important as a family get that connection as well.
Yeah. How does social media affect teen mental health?
A lot. I would say a lot because definitely can increase anxiety, which is overthinking. It's maybe comparing themselves with other people. Also, a lot of pressure. They feel pressure by other teens or by other people doing something, and somehow they start creating the image, or sometimes try to see how they, like I said, they want to look like somebody else. Then a lot of times they are real, so they start creating that self-esteem in something that is not. So. Like I say, it's a good communication to have with teens and help them to recognize what is real, what is not real.
Okay, so I'm just going to go off topic because I was reading an article yesterday where a teen, they're doing this, the used to be Tide pod challenge.
Yeah.
and now they're doing this butterfly challenge where they're killing butterflies, mixing with water, and they're injecting themselves with it, which is poisonous. And it came off like a teen challenge off of social media. Just going back to like mental health and social media aspect, people have to realize this is not healthy. So we need to kind of like focus more on what your child's seeing on social media.
Yeah. It's very important, and it also, I think, having this opportunity to share with kids what is healthy, what is not unhealthy, and maybe report, maybe teach them how to report anything that they see that is dangerous. Could be to them or could be at school. So I think it's again having open conversation, build that trust, and from there, I would say it might help.
Okay. Why do teens shut down when parents try to help?
Because most of the time they feel like they are not independent, and they want to show that they are independent, or maybe because sometimes they feel like they want to recognize their strengths. They recognize that they can fix it. So they say, I can do it, or I figured it out. So all those terms. And again, go back to comparing with other people. They don't want to say, my mom helped me or my dad helped me. And that's why sometimes I see in some movies that when parents take the kids at school, they just say bye. They don't want to even give them a kiss or a hug and everything, because somehow they feel embarrassed too. I don't want people to think that I'm mommy's boy, so daughter, whatever.
Right.
So it's because they want to start creating their own independency.
You know what's interesting? I believe in culture, and you know, sometimes I see where I just call it what it is. The black culture, the white culture do not hug or kiss their kid, but the Latin culture always, you know, show emotions to their kid, and it's reciprocated. Do you find that that's more culture or more internal with the family, you think?
I think it's how communication has evolved. As we noticed before, parents used to write it down a card or a lot of things. I love you very much. You are my favorite. You're all those kind of stuff, and kids respond the same way. In those days, a mom or a dad can definitely write a big note. You are my angel. You are this. You are that. And things the answer is okay. So now it's how all those teenagers, most of the time, or I would say lately, they are very short in how express feelings and emotions. And that, I would say, in some parts is because social media. It's just a couple words means I'm very happy, or just one anything that they just try to reduce whatever they say.
Okay.
So I would say it's more like how
Okay.
Communication has been changing. Okay.
Why are teens so sensitive when feeling judged, you think?
Because at the time they are trying to identify with themselves and recognize who they are, where they want to be. And I would say teenagers, they judge themselves a lot. I'm too tall, and my hair is too long, it's too short. So it's a lot of work for them to think about how they want to be presented to other people.
Okay. You know, the one thing I've always, you know, even growing up, you know, parents and teens get into a heated argument, and the teen goes, "You have no idea how I feel." It's like their parents never been a teen before. You know, how do parents forget about intense conversations being a teen felt?
I think one of the things is recognize that we are in a different era. That teenagers at these times, some of them, they are more emotional when they want to express something. Some of the day they don't. So we just want to get the time to ask questions in a way that we have a conversation with them to try to understand how much they have developed emotionally, and like that we can connect more with them. And also, of course, remember how we used to be probably with our parents. Sometimes we didn't listen to our parents. Sometimes we want to stay in the room and don't enjoy family
Right.
gathering. So I think it's good to check what I used to do before. That probably wasn't according to what my parents want me to act. So it's nothing new. We just need to again recognize who we were.
Yeah, what's interesting is, it's I worked with a lot of people, and it was interesting where the child would always be in the basement on uh, some of these video games that's out there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just like there's his family would be upstairs, or the daughter or something would be in the room or out, and then it was kind of like the one kid was always downstairs playing video games, video
Yeah.
games, and it's just like, how about stopping the video game
Yeah.
and enjoying time with your family, or go for a walk, or do something besides just the video games, because I understand video games passes the time, but you also need that quality time with your kid as
Yeah.
well.
And keep in mind, some video games you can learn about the other person. So maybe try to find video games that help you to know more your child.
Yeah. Okay. How do past conflicts affect current communication?
Okay, so I think it's important for review what happened after the incident or after the difficult time, and say create some agreements and say, hey, I know last week we have a conversations or we have situations because the clothes or because the bedroom, whatever it is. Do you want to talk about what agreements that we create that day and see if we both are agree? And think about this. Before we used to use the word rule. Those are the rules of the house. So maybe we change that word and say, let's go have an agreement to see what is working for you and working for me. And keep in mind who is the authority in the house. But listen to more and help them, allow them to make decisions in doing something at home and recognize it. So definitely that's very helpful when you recognize what they make a decision or something.
Okay. How important is it for parents, or shall I say, what's the most important thing parents can remember in life or in general, or however you want to take that question?
Yes, it's not, don't take it personal. A lot of times parents feel like, oh, my kids don't love me, or they don't want to talk to me, or they are not, I don't know why they're acting like that when I give everything they ask me or everything they give me. It's time for parents to recognize that it's part of that brain development, and it's time for find different ways how we communicate with our teens, and maybe ask them what they need from me as a parent, and remind them maybe some moments where the communication was great, and say, hey, can we have a conversation like we have it last week when we were talking about something that made me feel very good. How you feel about it? Do you have time to talk now, or let's go talk about later, because this is important for the house, or this is important for you. So it's nothing to do about love. It's just how we basically understand where they are, and like that we can use some tools to communicate. So that's something that I want people to remember, parents to remember. And if they are decide to the kids go to see a therapist, just check with the therapist as well and see how they can help at home, because they live in the house. So parents should be involved somehow with the therapist.
Do you feel that sometimes parents and teens need to go to therapy together before they get to their teen years?
I would say therapy is all depends on the situation, right? But I would say therapy is, especially in those days, is extremely important for a teen to help them to develop their own personality and to help them to again recognize what is real and what is not, and what situation is happening to them that they don't feel comfortable to disclose to their parents. So I feel like it will be good to check with that's why schools have counselors. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's so many probably in some schools, so many students. So why not to just have a conversation with the teen and say, hey, just let me know you want somebody that you can talk, and you don't feel comfortable, that's fine. But not why not just to try?
Yeah. Do you feel like teens and parents spend too much time not hanging out together, or is that from like grade school up until high school? So like for instance, I'll just clarify a little bit more. Let's say you're taking your kids to sports or watching a movie. Do you think that repetitive thing that you do together should still take place in their later years from grade school? If you spend time with your kid every Sunday and all of a sudden you're not spending time with your kid every Sunday, does that affect sometimes the teen going into their teen years?
I think so. And you say something important when you say taking the kids to do sports or maybe any kind of art. Are you really doing that activity with your son or your child, or you just take them for them to do something? So where is the quality time between you and your child?
Ah, okay.
So that would be good to find activities that you guys do together. Let's go do some art. Let's go do something together. Let's go make a cake together. What kind of cake we should make? Let's go watch a movie together. So where is the activity that you feel it was something that you enjoy or something that you did with your child, and not just my child do this sport. I take my child here, did this and that. Where is the time? Only like you mentioned before, just in the right time and say, hey, how was it?
And then have a conversation after that movie, or going to sports, or hey, what you think about that movie? Let's go talk about it. Let's go, or sports. What did you think about this? Okay, all right.
That's why based on this, I feel like as I need it, we are here in Remotions Therapy. We are going to do some painting activities with families. So like that, they can paint something together, create a memory of quality together. Something that we want to start doing it next month. Next year.
Okay. Do you find that, and not to say this disparagingly, but do you find kids more needy now than kids who were latchkey kids?
I would say no more needy, but the thing is because seems like every time the time is shorter, and we say I don't have time, or just what do you need now? So we short the time, so kids need, like, they cannot express everything they want, so they start, can I do this? Can I do that later? Can I? So it's not needy. I think it's scheduled maybe quality time at home once a week, and say, hey, can we talk about how was this week? How I did support you this week that you feel was important to you? What can we do next week? So I think it's time management and family, and how we, again, quality time with them is very important.
Okay. So we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Can you just give everybody your information?
Sure. Alfredo Marulanda. I am a clinical therapist and a director for Remotions Therapy Center, and we are available to do therapy for teenagers, 14 years old and older, and we do it virtual, and also we do in person, and we are located in Chicago.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, and this is it for All About Nothing.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.